And thank you for taking the time and being here. And also, I just felt really connected because I just felt like the sound bath that you did, that you facilitated, was so beautiful and so natural and so from your heart. Like this is a gift that you're obviously sharing. And I'm very compelled to connect with people like you because I am really focusing on nervous system regulation. And I am very compelled to, I've been researching nervous system regulation. I've been re-regulating my own nervous system. And I feel compelled to share as much as I can in my research and meeting cool people like you, to pass it on and just share it with people, my audience, my clients, and to also have a collaboration of like-mindedness, which I love.
Yeah, I feel the same exact way. Absolutely. I think that so much of what you and I both offer in our different practices is rooted in what we're trying to find also for ourselves. You know, it starts within. It starts with you searching for something. I know it did with me. And then when you discover something that does help you, that does enhance your life, that works, then you want to give it to people. You want to tell people about it. So, yeah, and then you hope that then that attracts like-minded people, and that you kind of create your own little circle, your own little world. Not that you're insulating yourself from anybody else, but you know, you attract what you feel inside. So yeah, I loved meeting you, and it was such a great experience where we met at the outdoor sound bath on the water on a
It was so
sunny
beautiful.
day. Yeah, it was fabulous.
So tell me, Catherine, do like a little introduction of yourself and tell me like who you are, how you got involved with sound bath healing, how you got involved with this beautiful work that you're doing and sharing with people around you and wonderful communities.
Oh, well, thank you for asking. So, my name is Catherine Barrett, and I am a meditation instructor, a sound therapy practitioner, and Reiki master. And it all began with meditation. I started my own meditation practice like 14 years ago. And then about 4 years after that, having really benefited from having a meditation practice in my own life, I wanted to give that to other people. And so I began studying and training, went through a training program to become a teacher, so started a meditation teacher business. And then through that, it kind of morphed into sound. I had met during the teacher training another like-minded individual named Diane Nickelberg Barnett. And a couple years after we had both gone through training and we were doing our own separate thing, she reached out to say she was starting a meditation studio in New Canaan in Connecticut. And is anybody interested in coming on board with her? And of course I said, yes, me. You know, I started or teaching rather a few clients, you know, and so that was a great opportunity to start really bringing it to the masses, so to speak, and discovered very quickly that everybody wants to meditate, and it's a great idea, but it's the hardest simple thing you will ever do in your life. And so I started incorporating little bits of sound. I mean, even just using like a Tibetan, a brass singing bowl to usher in the beginning of a session or at the end. And then I realized that I could use something this simple to draw attention. You know, sound really got you where your mind is off wandering. And so then I began using sound personally for myself, but then really expanding. And so then that was years of training in New York, Vermont, all over the place, Connecticut, with different teachers in sound and using that to help in meditation. Then you realize the somatic therapy end of it, regulating your nervous system, the vagus nerve, all of that good stuff. And that really blew up into the crystal bowls, the gongs, chimes, the whole, the whole band, so to speak. And then Diane and I both started doing sound baths, and it was just took off like wildfire. I mean, this was like 10 years ago, so it was very new to kind of the wellness and meditation area, and it was just packed. And we had people, you lie down for a sound bath, people were shoulder to shoulder in there, and it was just such a wonderful experience. And then the plague hit. And so you couldn't, she shut down the studio in New Canaan, and then we quickly pivoted to Instagram, to Facebook, to doing it live. Once or twice a week, we would do like a live in the evening, either sound bath or a meditation, just a quick short one for people that were at home. And then that's where it really kind of took off, really. And it's so funny because then jump ahead a few years, we're all back in the world again, we're face to face, and we were doing sound baths publicly again. And so many people would come up and say, "Oh, we found you on Facebook or Instagram Live, and you got us through the pandemic during lockdown."
Wonderful.
We would all, this whole group of young women that were like, we would all log in at the same time. So they were all together in their own homes, watching our sound bath and our meditation. And now here they were in person meeting us. So it was like, it was like so sweet, and it's impactful. And so I think that's where sound came out. And then the more studies, finally, there are real studies, hard science coming in about the benefits of sound. Then it's just like, it's fabulous. And now it's more mainstream. You can pretty much Google, a sound bath near me or sound healing or something like that, and you can find something in your area. So it's just been wonderful to see it being accepted as mainstream. So many people, when I do a sound bath now, Mike, is this the first time for anybody? And only a couple hands will pop up. A lot of people have experienced a sound bath, and it's just wonderful to see. Wonderful.
And the regulation for the nervous system, and just switching gears for people, for those that might be listening that have never had this experience before. It is just such a wonderful, first of all, it's a great community to be a part of.
It is.
And it's also a wonderful way to shift yourself into parasympathetic mode. So when we go into that rest and digest mode, and the sounds that you're generating from all the beautiful instruments are so, our bodies absorb that, and there's so much wonderful benefit to our brain waves, our nervous system, just to re-regulate. Because most of us are in sympathetic dominance most of the time, which is, for those that don't know, it's the opposite of the rest and digest mode. So that's the busy part of the nervous system, that we're thinking, we're problem solving, we're on our devices, and we have a lot of activity. The mind is very busy, and the monkey mind, I point here to the third eye because that's where it is. And this shuts down the monkey mind. So wonderful, fantastic. Tell me about, what was your absolute favorite sound bath that you facilitated that pops in your mind that you have really great memories of?
Oh my God. So many. I mean, the one that we just did, that you were at, I mean, it was like the perfect day. We had done an ecstatic dance and movement and, oh my gosh. And it was like the most perfect summer day on the water with the sound, everybody in nature lying on the earth. And I've done so many outdoor sound baths, where you're lying on the earth, really connected. But some of my favorite ones, funny ones, are where, people fall asleep and they're snoring, and I'll just walk by and tap their little foot and get them to stop. That's, a funny thing. But my favorite sound baths, really, it's when people are affected by it. I've had, a lot of people that have come up to me afterwards and said, you know, I have ADHD, my brain is always spinning at 100 miles an hour, but when I'm in a sound bath, when I was here, I finally was able to quiet it, not shut it out. I mean, that's not the point of meditation, sound bath. You can't stop thinking. It's always going to happen. Even when you're sleeping, you're dreaming. But to slow the mind and focus it, and people saying, oh my God, that was great because I felt calm for the first time in months. You know, that is amazing. When people say, I felt it in this part of my body, this part of, you know, a chakra center, or just, I have a tingle or something. They're really just profoundly impacted. And that just makes me so happy, so happy. I mean, even if somebody's like, I have insomnia and this is the first time I fell asleep, you know, I was like, yay, you know, it doesn't matter. It's just so fun to see people's reaction to it. Even little kids, I've done sound baths for children, and they're just like, whoa, mesmerized, you know, and that really slows them down and calms them. But I enjoy doing sound baths outdoors. So nice and lovely. Totally different experience of being inside, where the sound waves are more encapsulated by the boundaries of the room, the walls and the ceiling and the floor. But I mean, just to see people's reactions and be like, I just had no idea. Or, you know what, a memory comes up. They hear a particular sound that I make and they're like, that took me back to my childhood. That made me think of this. I had forgotten about such and such event, but it kind of really came to the forefront of my mind. I mean, that's it, right? It's just wonderful. And plus, I'm getting a great benefit from it, too. I feel wonderful that I've helped people, but like, I'm getting the sound waves too from all the different, you know, instruments. So people are always like, does it benefit you? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm trying not to get lost in my zone here and forget that I have a room full of people, but yeah, I'm feeling it too, because the sound waves go through everybody. So, such a benefit to anybody in the room. And what you were saying about the nervous system and the sympathetic nervous response, the fight and flight and fawn, which is the sympathetic, which is the one we're trying to get rid of, or at least slow down. It has its place. It does. But get into that parasympathetic mode. Huge. Rest, digest, and detox. And this gets you there.
It must be so cathartic for you, because you're also, when you're facilitating this, you're a musician, and I'm sure you have different, would you say that each sound bath that you do is of like a different orchestra, like it's curated differently, and maybe you feel the vibe from the audience that is with you, and you maybe tap into different instruments at different times during the period that you're together?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Excellent point. It is. I mean, there is sort of a structure to it. I will start with, say, some crystal sound bowls, traditional, and use a certain tones and stuff like that to get you into what we call entrainment, where the mind is slowing down and it's getting into a rhythm. And so you do introduce certain sounds to induce that moving in through from beta state, beta brain waves, down into alpha state, which is more relaxed. And hopefully we're going to get down to theta brain waves, very, very slow, where all the release happens. So it is a little bit of a system of, I'm going to start with these sounds, then I'm going to move into sort of this sound. But it is different each time, because really, like I was saying before, if you're outside, I didn't bring, when we were outside at the water, I didn't bring certain sounds with me, certain instruments, because the sound dissipates. It's not going to resonate, literally, with anybody. So you do want to curate it to the environment, but also to the situation, right? So sometimes small group of ladies that have decided they want to have a sound bath instead of book club this month. And so they're in a certain place and it's calm, and maybe I won't use quite as much gong, or I won't end with a harsh sound to kind of wake people up like the ocean drum, because everybody's just like so mellow and relaxed. You don't want to break that vibe that you've created because you know what they need, because you do feel it. And sometimes I've done a sound bath where I'm like, wow, I'm really, I'm on today. I'm doing good. I'm really in the flow, and I don't want to use a certain sound that I might usually use because I think it's going to kind of break that spell. Not that I'm trying to induce any particular vibe, but you feel it. And then to finish and have people say, wow, that what, and I was right. I felt it like you felt it. Oh, good. I'm glad it wasn't just me. So you do kind of follow a certain flow. You want to bring the mind into a relaxed state. Then you kind of want to use a little, maybe more aggressive sounds like gong or drum or something to kind of, what I say, blow the dust off. Really to kind of shake things up energetically, mentally, clear things out, get everybody's attention. You don't want to just be floating in the clouds all the time. You have to bring people down and ground them emotionally, mentally, and their nervous system. A lot of grounding. So it is sort of specific to what we're looking to do for a particular group of people. But it kind of does follow a little bit of a flow.
Okay. And then just if you can just take one of your instruments that you had, one of the crystal bowls, just for maybe people that are not familiar, if you can just share one of the instruments and just say like how you use it, what kind of tools you use to activate the sound in it.
Yeah, for sure. So this is probably what people see most often. It's a frosted crystal bowl. It's 99.9% quartz crystal. It's actually a byproduct of the computer chip manufacturing industry. So they haven't been around very long, but this is the one that people see most often. And it can just be struck with a mallet. This happens to be silicone covered. Or it can be sung by activating it around the side. And it resonates and resonates. And these crystal bowls, which I have a whole slew of, really, again, are working with that brain wave, slowing it down, getting you into that alpha state where it's very relaxed. It's a harmonious sound, especially with all the other ones in concert, that get you into that entrainment, that drop you into that state of relaxation, where then a lot of mental clarity comes, great for creativity, focus, calm, just slowing that mind down. Sometimes people fall asleep, but usually not. It just kind of focus and brings clarity while feeling really, really relaxed. So I think the crystal is magnificent for that. Then again, the Tibetan bowls, and that can be rung, can be struck and rung. You can also, again, go around the edge. I don't think it'll show as good on the mic, but this is a traditional. This has been around for thousands of years, used for meditation, for religious purposes, for anything really. And this is wonderful. And this is a bowl that I would use if I was seeing someone individually for what's called sound healing. I call it sound therapy. And that's placed literally right on the body. And when that is struck, that really resonates. That really, really, really gets into the body. I mean, all the sounds, especially the crystal bowl, when you're in a sound bath, in that situation, the sound bath is literally bathing you with sound. Sound waves travel through water, which we are mostly water. They travel through water even more efficiently, more quickly than through the air. So even though you might not feel the tingle in your body, the sound waves go through the body. And that's where we get a little bit of a sort of a massage, a relaxation. It sort of balances the nervous system, calms it, almost gives it like a dominant vibration to really syncopate with, to align with and relax and calm. We're also covered in lymph nodes. You know this from doing, your lymphatic drainage facials and stuff like that. We are covered in lymph nodes that collect all the junk and the gunk. And so as you're getting these sound waves going over, on a lesser state than when you would do your lymphatic drainage. But to a certain level, we are also massaging all of that. And that's why it's a detoxifying experience to go to a sound bath. And why I tell everybody afterwards, drink, 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 plenty of fluids for at least 24 hours to really whoosh, flush it all out, because you are moving, literally moving water around in your body through having the sound waves passing over you and through you.
Beautiful. And then touch a little bit on types of practitioners that you like to partner with. And you can segue into your retreat that's coming up in Pawling, New York. And if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yep. So it's so funny. It's wonderful when you are in the community of wellness, of, the stuff that we both do, which is that under the umbrellas of wellness, that you do meet so many different practitioners, not just sound practitioners that I work and collaborate with, like Diane, that I've been working with for years, other sound people from around the state, but also yoga instructors. I've worked with a lot of yoga instructors where they'll do maybe like a gentle flow or even restorative yoga, and then I do a sound bath with them. Oh, that is so impactful. People love yoga and sound, and you can find that almost anywhere. I've done also collaborations with a dear friend who is an acupuncturist in Westport, Nancy Burns. She's fabulous. And I will do a sound bath. She will go around and put a few needles in each person based on what they need. Excuse me. And then they will lie there for a sound bath. And you want to talk about a double whammy. I mean, that's just
what a beautiful combination.
Huge. And then, like what we did for the ecstatic dance, the yoga teachers were guiding everybody through ecstatic dance for like 2 hours. And then to come down from that, to ground, calm, and relax, then I did the sound bath. So it's just absolutely wonderful. And, we use it for meditation. I call it a sneaky form of meditation, which it is. So people that can't sit there and just, relax and try to focus on their breath or sound or whatever, sound bowls, the instruments, really gets them to focus in on it. And so thank you for mentioning the retreat that we're doing. Diane and I are hosting our first weekend away in Pawling, New York. It's the first weekend in October, and it's going to be a weekend of sound baths, yoga nidra, which is deep meditation, house ceremonies, yoga and movement. There'll be Reiki offered, also yoga with goats, and equine therapy, because there is a therapist there that has the horses, and it's not about riding, it's about the therapeutic benefit of interacting with the animals. There'll be forest bathing, and you can find information for that on groundedmeditationstudio.com. That's coming up the first week in October. And once a month I do a public sound bath at home yoga in Milford, Connecticut. That's on Saturday afternoons. And for that, you can find it. Actually, I post everything on my Instagram, which is Catherine Barrett Sound. So you can see it there. But yeah, collaboration, you know how it is. It's fine modalities. It's wonderful. I've done sound baths in salt caves, salt rooms, where people are just sitting there inhaling the really wonderful benefits of salt therapy, the Himalayan salt therapy, which there are a number of them all over. I know there's one in Guilford. Yeah. And to have then the sound with it, it's just, you add sound to anything. How often are you driving around in silence? Never. You always have some music on. When you're reading, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you've got sound going on. You have music. And there's a reason for that. It affects us. It gets us. Your favorite song, instantly in the kitchen, or, you're in a dark place, you put on that one song that allows you to release, right? Sound as a means of release of emotion.
Absolutely.
Just fabulous.
Well, I can't thank you enough, Catherine. This has been such an honor to connect with you and hear all this wonderful information and what you're doing. And you're really making a lot of impact with a lot of people. So thank you for the work that you do. And thank you for connecting with me today. And tell once again what your website is and how people can contact you.
They can contact me. I don't have a website. Isn't that terrible? I'm a little behind the curve, but you know what? It's more word of mouth. But on Instagram, they can follow me, everything, and contact me directly, catherine.barrett.sound. And for the Pauling Retreat and anything I do with Grounded Meditation, it's groundedmeditationstudio.com. And thank you, Renee, so much. It was such a gift to have met you at that.
Likewise.
In Guilford a week ago. It was like such a really, right? It's just when things line up, they just line up.
Meant to be, and that was such a gift for me as well, because I reconnected with Linda.
Yes.
Linda and I worked in healthcare over a decade ago.
Yes.
And so it's just so nice to reconnect with people. And I met you and I met some other fabulous people. So great experience. But thank you again. And blessings to you. And thank you for joining me. And I will figure this out and post it somehow and share it with you. So you be well. Thank you so much, Catherine.
Thank you, Renee.
Okay. You bet. Be well. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Oh my God. Let's see. It was 26 minutes and 40.